Giselle Perez, and I'm going to talk about the topics of Unit 1 for the subject Didactics for Grammar. The first theory that we're going to discuss in this video is focus on form. In this theory, teachers help students notice the gap between new features in a target language, a structure, and how they differ from the language interlanguage. This means that the teachers help students to notice some important aspects in the target language. To the students can notice some difference or similarities between their maternal language and the L2 language. The next theory that we're going to discuss is UG inspired SL research. In this theory, the teaching grammar is for the teacher to focus on students' attention on concentrate sentence examples showing effects on particular parameters that may need resetting in the target language. And this means that the teacher helps students to notice and pay attention to the grammar that needs to be focused on the language, and shows examples and some particular patterns that the teacher or the students can need to learn again in the new language, because some of these concepts do not exist in the maternal language or in the L2 language. The third one is sociocultural theory. In this theory, use Vygotsky's sociocultural theory as a frame of reference and is a study of Donato. Donato says that collective scaffolding language development was brought about through social interaction. Collective scaffolding means that the knowledge is about the structure, and we need to learn first the unit 1, for example, and then the unit 2. So you need to be and climb like a structure in your knowledge. You need to learn first the simple things, and then you enter to a complex understanding of the knowledge. So the students in this theory need to interact and discuss and enter to a conversation between them so they can acquire the grammar and be better in the L2 language and understand it better. So then we have disclosure grammar. It focuses on linguistic analysis to discourse level, L2 research and discover. And use the present perfect to operate at this level to frame an habitual present tense narrative. This means they use the present perfect as an example or as the structure of the theory to teach students to know the grammar. And choose grammatical form often sign such things as the speaker's attitude, power, and identity to place of grammar in social interaction. This means they use the social interaction, the conversations, the listenings, and how the students interact between them so they can acquire the grammar. It's a grammar that is in the practice, not in theory especially. Then we have corpus linguistic. This topic was very interesting to me. I read it and I like it because use technological changes, coordinates programs to search massive database spoken and written language to identify examples of particular grammatic patterns. In the corpus linguistics, some research or special language research run a study between the English that's spoken in the United States, United Kingdom, and Australia, and try to find or connect the similarities between spelling patterns and some difference between them, so they can know how it's more common to speak English in those countries. So we have a word like I don't know, in first. So the study found that infer goes to two, infers two, infers that. So those patterns are used in some technology applied. So technology apply those patterns to create new technology devices like the autocorrector in the cell phones. So you can write a word and the autocorrector suggests to you a new word that you may use in your text. So this is the practice of this theory. Then we have connectionism. The connectionism is maintained that auto language can be described by rules. It doesn't necessarily follow that language is just a proof or a rule application. Even when we have rules in grammar, we have patterns, we have an structure, it doesn't matter when you are practicing. It doesn't matter that you follow the rules, yours are in your brain. You are talking and you are interactive with your students, with other people, and then you apply the grammar. You don't have to follow the rule exactly to speak. And then we have that interest in architecture of the human brain. This theory basically tries to understand how the language works in your brain, how the connections between them uh, work or form the language, so you can use it in a very practical way, in a fast way, even when you don't notice that you are speaking or articulating. Your brain is doing the job for you. Those theories are related to the research, to the theoretical part of grammar. Then we have the practice. In the practice, we have two approaches of grammar. The structural approach that basically can be resumed in present, practice, and produce. The teacher presents to the students a explicit description of grammatical structures, of rules of grammar. Then the students practice the knowledge, then the rules, and after that they can produce for themselves the language of the grammar. So they basically are making the conversation using the grammar, speaking English, but when the teacher already gave them the information, so the brain process all the information and do it by the student. The second approach is communicative approach. In this approach, we understand content on completing a class and draw students' attention if a grammatical problem occurs. So in the first approach, we need to introduce the students to the grammar theory. We need to give them the structure, when I reading about grammar, about language, the formula of the tense in English, or how they have to talk. And then students process that information and do it. But in the second approach, it means that the students already are talking and we just correct them so they can understand the grammar, and then is when we apply it. And this approach are interesting when you are in a classroom, in a real classroom, talking to students, and not just in school learning the theory. So I think that is very important. I'm just starting in a secondary school, doing class, practicing, and notice how teachers perform these theories in the classroom. But I think that is very important when you realize your students' needs and know how you can help them to use the grammar in their context. The context is very important so the teacher can find a better way to explain the students and help them. So in my particular case, I know that I still have to learn more about English grammar, about theories, and about class management, so my students can understand how I'm going to perform my class. But I know that even though I'm still learning, I can help students in their context. In even when the teacher is explaining the class, I can help students in a very particular way because I'm talking directly to them. I can explain the grammar a little better, and they can realize how when they are using the English language, because I try to talk with them in English so they can use it and know how to apply the words that are in the book that maybe they don't understand, but I can use it with them, and I can give them just a close look of how they're going to talk in a fluent way with a real person that just speaking English and not just in a class practicing or doing the job. And I hope that this video is going to like it. Bye.